Alrighty, hello everyone. For my meal today, I chose to do one from Hawaiian culture. I did a Hawaiian plate lunch with teriyaki chicken, white rice, and macaroni salad. For the macronutrient breakdown, we have about 50% carbs, 20% protein, and around 30% fat. The carbs will mostly come from the white rice and the mac salad, and is going to fall within the range because you're supposed to have 45 to 65% of your daily calories come from carbohydrates. So this one works for that one. The protein mostly comes from the chicken. And it does also fall within the range because you should have 10 to 35% of your daily calories come from protein, and this 20% does fall within that. And then for our fat, we do have, it mostly comes from the mayonnaise, the teriyaki sauce, and cooking oil that would be used for the food. And it is definitely a little bit on the upper end. 20 to 35% of your daily calories should come from fat, and this one is on the higher end of that range, so it could be balanced a little bit more. For the micronutrients I chose, I wanted to look at vitamin B12 and sodium. The B12 comes from the chicken primarily. You have around 0.3 micrograms of it out of your 2.4 micrograms, so it's a pretty low percentage of it. It was just one I wanted to look at. And vitamin B12 is important for red blood cell formation, nerve function, and metabolism, so it's definitely an important one to have, make sure you're getting. And then sodium will come from the teriyaki sauce, definitely, and the mac salad. It has around like 1,200 milligrams of it when you should be having less than 2,300-ish a day, so it's definitely a high amount, and it's definitely on the upper end of your daily limit, which is not super great. And having too much sodium causes things with like high blood pressure, stuff like that. So it's not great on the sodium side of things. The strengths of it is a good source of protein. Chicken has all of your essential amino acids, which is great for muscle repair and recovery, so that's important. And it also has some vitamin B12, which is an important vitamin that a lot of people can be deficient in, so that's good. And then it definitely it's a high calorie meal, so it's very energy dense. So that is definitely the strength of it if you look at it like that. Some of the limitations is definitely the high sodium and high fat content of it. We talked about sodium can be not great if you consume too much of it, and same with fat, which is mostly in the mayonnaise, so it's kind of a concentrated source of it. It also doesn't have a lot of fiber because you're using white rice and pasta that probably is not whole grain, so it's kind of been stripped of those nutrients. So that could be improved as well. And then for the improvements that I chose to do, I would use a lighter mayonnaise, so one with like a less fat content, or just eating a smaller portion of it because that can kind of balance out the fat content of this meal. And then adding vegetables to it will help get some of the micronutrients that are not as present in there. So I know I used to work in a Hawaiian shop, and we had green salad as a side. That was an option, and I think that could definitely help balance this meal out a little bit more while still being respectful of the culture and like the tradition around it. And then for the cultural recommendations, I would just modify the portions of the meal and not just like taking things out of it. So if you just make some things that are a little more like energy dense a little bit smaller and add more nutrient dense food, you can still have all of the important components without all of the extra things that are not super great for you. And then adding nutrient dense foods like vegetables will also be a good recommendation overall, just to make sure that you're getting all of those micro and macronutrients that you need without overloading certain things like sodium and fat and stuff like that. So that is my meal.